Yeah, I probably should actually take a nap, but we're here, so let's do it. Especially since someone in the last video commented about when are we talking about running back breakouts, so I thought that could be this video. What running backs do I think are going to break out at different thresholds for the first time in 2021? Okay, now to be clear, it doesn't mean these are all the only running backs I like, and some of these breakout thresholds I'm not even overly particularly interested in, unless it comes at significant discount, and then it at least provides more points than you're expecting, and so on and so forth. But based on the research we were doing just for breakouts in general, looking at the commonality of breakouts, we created some career year brackets of when most breakouts occur, and then we've just made a simple assumption of if a player has broken out at an earlier threshold, it makes them more likely to break out at the next threshold. So if you've been a top 36 running back last year or the year before, it makes you more likely to at some point be a top 24 running back. Now that logic isn't as clear or as common as it is for wide receiver or even tight end, but it still gives us a reasonably short list of interesting names for the next season. And so I thought I'd use it to try and highlight some of the running backs I've been targeting drafts, especially since a lot of them turned up on that list, which I think is kind of proof that we're using a similar process more broadly. And this was just fast, simple, and easy. And I thought it made a nice list, so there you go. Also, I'm going to try and do another graphic. Let's see if it works as well as it did last time. Alright, ready? He pauses, hoping a graphic emerges on the screen, maybe? Who knows? Alright, so actually let me just show you the broader list. This is what's in my NFL database, looking at potential breakouts, and these are the year boundaries we've used. So running backs tend to break out between year 2 and year 5. In fact, they tend to break out between year 1 and year 4. Again, first year is much more common for running backs than any other position, as we can see if we just look at the typical rates of when players break out. You see that you get 25% of all breakouts into the top 5 since 2009 have happened in the first year. Now, second year in the top 5 is actually more common, but again, that's a top 5 breakout year, so it's a fairly high threshold. But 34% of all breakouts in the top 12 happened first year, 37 at 24, 47% of all breakouts that happened to the top 36. Okay, so the first player that I'm most interested in as a potential breakout candidate for the running back position in 2021 is actually already a cheat. I'm going to name 2 players. It's Chase Edmonds and it's Gus Edwards. Chase Edmonds of the Arizona Cardinals, who's being drafted in the 7th round right now in Dynasty, because he's one of our more favored breakout candidates, actually. And also Gus Edwards. Both of them fit the career year pattern. Both of them have been top 36 running backs. Now, to break both of them down, Gus Edwards is going in the 12th round. Sorry, I should have said that. And that's really why I like him, because it's really a cost-benefit ratio. Both of them potentially could have their first top 24 season. Now, that means they could finish 5th. That means they could finish 22nd, and both would cross that. Both of those instances would mean they're top 24 breakouts. Chase Edmonds going in the 7th right now. He's a little overpriced for me, to be honest. So I get more interested in Nino Benjamin, who hasn't yet been a top 36 running back or really touched the ball much in the NFL, in live games at least. Anyway, but when you're looking at an ambiguous running back backfield, I often go for the cheapest one that I have some interest in, and Nino Benjamin had a pretty positive college profile, and so I've kind of been defaulting to him. But for those chasing him in the 7th round, I think it's pretty interesting that he fits that commonality of breakout threshold going into 2021. That's also why I added Gus Edwards here, since I have a lack of interest in Chase Edmonds. The other name on that top 24 breakout list that interested me was Gus Edwards. I know Brett Coleman, who's got an amazingly large YouTube channel and is an actual professional NFL analyst, so you don't need me to tell you who he is, but he recently shouted him out on his list of running backs that are underrated in the NFL. Strongly recommend the video. Obviously, I don't watch. I didn't even really know football's a thing that actually happens. But apparently it is, and you can watch them play it and know. But while I am expecting way too much out of Baltimore this year, J.K. Dobbins is one of the players I really like as a sophomore running back who did well in his first year. that I end up not drafting. I think some of the ceiling is just not accessible for him, especially based on where his current ADP is at, because Lamar Jackson is going to run, and we should want Lamar Jackson to run. If Lamar Jackson isn't running, I'm not sure the team is as good, and that is worse for J.K. Dobbins, which just limits his overall opportunity, even though he has proved to be a very good running back in the NFL. Over-reliant on touchdowns and a smaller rushing share with a ceiling to it, so on and so forth. His expected points last year, by the way, were like 5 points per game. Obviously, he was outperforming that at a phenomenal rate, but that's a problem. If you have to be efficient to maintain, then it's hard to expect you to grow. You know, especially when, again, the only way for him to really grow is for Lamar Jackson to shrink, and that I don't think that would be good. That also means that Gus Edwards is running back 2 on that team, who has been pretty decent for them since being in the NFL. I mean, he's going to siphon some touches. He could be the one to get the goal line touchdowns here and there and everywhere, especially since touchdowns move around more, which is part of the problem with J.K. Dobbins. And therefore, I think, especially going in the second 12th round, being fit, having demonstrated a skill set that can definitely fulfill NFL requirements on a good team at a very low cost, I think he's pretty interesting. He could, vulture enough touchdowns that he enters into that top 24 threshold, which would be an amazing year based on where he's being drafted. Do I think it's overly likely? No, it's more of a value cost, and I don't mind the player. I think the player is pretty decent on a good team. Second running back, I like to break out into 2021 into a top 24 threshold. Probably won't be a surprise to you after my foray into the world of shorts in the last video. That's Myles Gaskin. He's got a top 24 potential breakout. I really think he could beat that, but the other people in that category that we're going to mention some of them later, they do have more draft capital. The team is going to have more interest in giving them opportunity. Malcolm Brown is a decent backup running back, which means he probably won't get all of the 53% rushing share and all of the 13% target share he had last year. It might move around slightly, which might limit his top 12 potential. Luckily, just for the career year boundary, he still turns up on the list as a potential top 24 running back breakout. He's currently going in the 7th round, which would be a high price for a top 24 running back. To be honest, this is partly what they call the running back dead zone now, or what we've been telling you for a while. Like, top 24 running backs aren't it. They don't provide a significant edge over replacement any more than, top 36 wide receivers do. And they are more consistent and predictable, and you do need those points. But we are racking ADP for running backs up so high, especially over the last 5 years, that it in no way pays off. You should pretty much be taking upside shots over players like Myles Gaskin in a draft, which is why everyone and their mother wants to tell you that Myles Gaskin is a bad running back pick. Yeah, but that kind of misses the point that if he's already on your team because you've been pretty good at identifying potential breakouts, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be happy to have him or you should trade him away for less than a first. It just means you're sucked at finding him, so stop whining. Alright, number 3. Cheating again, I'm just putting 2 names on this list, which is Antonio Gibson and Deandre Swift. Second year running backs, again we talked about that top 5 boundary in terms of likelihood of breaking out. Had really phenomenal good rookie seasons, which is also a good indication. They finished in the top 24, which is why they make this list. They have top 12 upside potential, which are the ones that you should be aiming for over those top 24 running backs. Unfortunately, everyone that I can find in that category is already going in the second round. Where we're racking up ADP, there's less value falling. And so, DeAndre Swift and Antonio Gibson both look to be good top 12 running back candidates. Unfortunately, I think we're paying for that right now. Now, they are the type of running backs I'm willing to spend on. Second year running backs on the come up with top 12 potential who were efficient last year and finished in the top 24. Like, I got no qualms about spending a second round pick on them. It's just a little disappointing. There is no value there. But outside of that, I think both of them make equal claims. Like, again, DeAndre Swift had the best receiving percentage of any rookie running back last year and the best receiving numbers. Antonio Gibson had this holistic all-down role, and people are already congratulating me that in preseason games J.D. McKissick was being used. Yeah, that doesn't mean that Antonio Gibson's can't be a top 12 running back. I just think we're projecting more efficiency or an improvement on the team, because we've already seen Gibson with the role. That's why he had such an impressive rookie season. And I'm willing to pay a second round pick for Antonio Gibson. I just think more people are willing to because they see the potential for like a higher level running back, like a Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley. I don't think he has like a 70% opportunity range in his opportunity percentage in his range of outcomes, but I do think on that 50 to 60% opportunity score, he could be efficient and end in the top 12. Yeah, I definitely think that's in the range of outcomes. I just think it's less exciting than some are willing to say. Right now, I think he's being drafted right where he should be. I think it's a very fair price. I'm excited about him in 2021. Just relatively, you know? Alright, the next person I'm putting on the list, number 2. This would be number 2. And this is complete opposite of Antonio Gibson and DeAndre Swift. This is very unlikely to happen, but we're getting him at a discount compared to the other two. And he has that top 12, even top 5 range of outcomes in his based on career year efficiency and having broken out into the top 12 before. Oh, here it is. Yes, James Robinson. I think, and let me be real clear on this, I think I have a larger ETN draft share on my best ball teams than pretty much anyone in the world, because there's one Rashad Penny who sucked enough that Chris Carson, who was a good running back with lower draft capital, just kept that job and has continued to be good on it. And there are many different examples of teams doing this, overdrafting a running back they didn't need because they had a good running back, and then that good running back just falling to the wayside. Teams hate lower drafted players. They hate undrafted free agents, like openly, viscerally mocking them with their draft picks, which is literally what the Jacksonville Jaguars just did. Everyone saw it and noticed it, and so the Jacksonville Jaguars have been making excuses for it ever since. But the fact is, they viscerally slapped James Robinson in the face during this draft. They just don't need him. We're going to go get another guy who can do it because we prefer to be able to say it was our fault. We had something to do with it. And so they drafted a guy to say that they made a good pick. I mean, I think that's what's going to happen. I think Travis Etienne is a great running back candidate who is definitely worth the draft capital and is going to be good in 2021. But James Robinson's good. And what if Etienne gets injured? Or what if Etienne is Rashad? I thought Rashad Penny was good. So there's that outside range of outcomes where James Robinson actually gets that job again, and we already know he's really good. So I think being drafted in the 8th round right now, you're getting a slight discount with top 12, top 5 upside, if you were to actually be able to fight off Etienne and retain that job. The other part of that is, to justify their draft pick, you might see more of a Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb split. I mean, I do not think one of them is going to be playing wide receiver. I just think that's coach speak to try and justify a bad decision, to be very clear. But Nick Chubb has been a top 12 running back the last 2 years with Kareem Hunt on the depth chart. It's the reason that Nick Chubb is a little more limited, and because he's had to be efficient to do it. But both have been productive, both of them have been good in the NFL. You can have a split when you have 2 really good running backs in the same backfield, that the team wants to give opportunity to both of them, that they both end up good for fantasy. So I think James Robinson's range of outcomes runs from nothing to Rashad Penny to Kareem Hunt, and then it runs up through Chris Carson, like above what Chris Carson has done because of what we've seen James Robinson do in year 1. And that means to me that in the 8th round, I think he's an interesting running back value. Other people are drafting top 24 running backs. I already have them on my roster because I found Myles Gaskin on the waiver wire, and Gus Edwards and Chase Edmonds are on my rosters, places like we've been searching them on waivers wires and in rookie drafts. James Robinson I missed on because I just don't draft a lot of undrafted free agents that first year, and now we have a chance to add him to our team, and he has a higher range of outcomes than those guys going in the 5th to 7th round or so, and I think that's good value. Alright, number 1, the best candidate for any type of breakout with upside and at cost for the 2021 season is rookies. Yeah, it's just all the rookies. Draft all the rookies. That's why we're chasing James Robinson right now, because there's still that upside, but I didn't capture him enough. If you did, stick with whatever process got you there, my man. It's where the top 12 range of outcomes come from. It's where large value swings come from. It's the most common breakout year for running backs, believe it or not, that first year. So all the rookies, you like Trey Sermon, add him. You like Javonte Williams and Travis Etienne and Najee Harris going in the second round right now. I think actually Najee Harris is a first round pick. I'm for it. Draft rookie running backs when you get the chance. Now, typically, we can also draft wide receivers and trade for running backs or vice versa, but when available, when they're a decent value, either in my rookie draft or in my startup, like I'm talking about with James Robinson in the 8th round right now, I will take running backs with top 12 potential, or even that top 24 potential of Myles Gaskin, but I have better luck finding them on the waiver wire than anywhere else. And Gus Edwards and Chase Edmonds were both players that got draft capital that we just sat on our depth charts in rookie drafts because we focused running backs after that first round especially. And yeah, just all rookies. Your back of your bench should be full of running backs that have greater or less potential of actually earning opportunity, but you like for one reason or another, to hope one of them turns into one of these other guys like Gus Edwards, Chase Edmonds, James Robinson, that we can then move on from at that point. But rookie running backs are the source. The straw that stirs the drink. That I know I can't think of a good one right now, but you know what I mean. Like, I like Najee Harris, I like Travis Etienne. Yeah, I like Michael Carter and Trey Sermon, the rookie running backs in decent situations. Ramondre Stevenson just had a good game in a preseason game. Yeah, I like him too. He's one of the few running back-sized running backs in this year's class. If you have a rookie running back you like, or just kind of like, add them. Put them on the back of your depth chart. Don't let rookie running backs sit on the waiver wire, really, no matter how far down the depth chart they are. You like Gerald Dokes, go make sure he's sitting in that taxi squad spot for you. Rookie running backs are where it's at for this position. So yeah, they're every year they're my number one potential breakout. To be honest with you, I hope that list is not too much of a cop-out for you. But I'm really tired, so I'm gonna go now. So I'm just gonna hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, let me know who your potential running back breakouts are for 2021. Who I missed, like the wide receiver list. One of the players that doesn't turn up is Deontay Johnson, just because he was inefficient last year. Because the other thing we've got on this list is we filter out players that had a minus score in fantasy points per game. I don't think that's really fair to Deontay Johnson, but it's a relatively minor filter since the only thing we're using is career year and having finished in the previous production range before, and it's making such a fairly interesting list of sleepers that we hear about a lot. And it's not giving us a list of 50 names. If we remove that filter, it legitimately gives us about 50 names for each position. And so just that simple have been efficient last year does give the list a better kind of functionality. But if your favorite breakout candidate for 2021 isn't on there, it might just be that filter. And while I want efficiency, I'm not too scared of it. So if someone missed the list because they were a little inefficient last year, but you still hold out hope, second year's a pretty common breakout year for running backs too, let me know about it. I'll be happy to check them out. Alright, gonna get out of here, take a 20-minute nap, and get back to the other job. Appreciate it, see you all next time. Just wanted to take a second to thank everyone who subscribed to the Patreon. These are the names that keep me grinding. If anyone out there is wondering why I even bother, you're looking at it right here. They're the ones supporting me. I really appreciate you taking the time, putting in the effort, and going to the expense of subscribing. And yeah, you're my favorite people. You're the best people. So to all the Kenny, Carl, and Barneys out there, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.